Hi, my name is Jack and I'm creative, living and working in London. In this video, I am going to show you how you can save money and consistently get cheaper flights. Let's do it. So a few years ago, I finally decided to go out and see the world. But the first thing that I needed to figure out is how can I do this cheaply as possible. I didn't have a lot of money, and even now I'm working a full-time job and I'm trying to save up for a new place. So I need to find a way of doing this cheap as possible. But I have found a way to do this and I'm going to share it with you today. So let's get on with it. Jump on the computer behind me and I'll show you these simple, easy steps which you can do right after this video. Okay, so the first method I'm going to go through with you today is when you search for any flights or any type of holiday, you search using incognito mode. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a way for you to browse and search the internet without picking up any cookies or browsing data history. Now, why is this important? Well, when you search online, if it's a particular flight, so you say you want to go to New York and you went on British Airways, you've gone on United, you've gone on Norwegian, the websites detect that you're consistently doing this through the cookies and the browsing data you collect. And what they'll start to do is increase the prices the more you look at them, because they know that you are interested in buying them. Now, how do we set up an incognito mode? It's really simple. I'm going to show you on here. So I'm just going to upload Chrome just like that, and what you'll see is in the top right corner next to your Google Mail icon, if you have one, you'll see 3 dots. Simply click on them and then you'll see new incognito window, and there you go. And as you can clearly see, it says Chrome won't save any of the following information: cookies, site data, and your browsing history. The cookies and site data is particularly important because that way you will not be tracked when you're trying to book certain flights. This is absolutely crucial, and make sure whenever you search for any holidays or anything like that, you are searching in incognito mode. So the second method which I employ to use, and this might seem really obvious, but I don't believe that people use these sites to the best of their ability, is use comparison sites like Skyscanner, like Cheap Flights. For those of you who don't know, what these sites do is they find the best deals around online and put them into one place. Now, even if you are aware of these sites, so many people do not use them to the best of their ability, and I'm going to show you some of these features right now. So the first thing we're going to do is search this incognito mode. So we're just going to go on skyscanner.com. there we go, it should load up, and here we're presented with the home page, which some of you I'm sure will be familiar with. One of the best features on this site is this section here, because you can put everywhere, and then around here on your depart and return dates, you click whole month and look down, it's got cheapest month. You simply search there, and what comes up is a list of all the cheapest flights currently available. And as you're going to see, we have £10 returns in Ireland. So we have direct flights from London to Dublin for £10. We have flights to Poland for £11, Italy £14, Hungary £15. The list is endless. Now, one of the places I'm just going to choose just at random is going to be Italy and Milan. Milan generally is always a very cheap city to fly to. Now, at the moment, it's showing me that it's in January and February. Although these dates aren't very appealing, cold in northern Italy, let's just switch and go, right, okay, I want to go in May. So that's just still outside of peak time, and as you can see, it's come up with a list of the prices, and what it has is green, amber and red, and as you can rightly see down here, that gives you an indication of a cheap flight or an expensive flight depending on the time of year. However, I can still click on, for say, on the 18th of May and try and return on the 22nd, and as you can see, the flights here are only £31. Now, this isn't just it. You don't simply just buy from here, and a method that I do when I click on that, I will go and I'll search, and what it does, it gives you a list of the airlines and the different ways in which you can go there. Go on select, and then what it will do for you is give you a list of the cheapest places, and generally right now Ryanair's direct website is the cheapest place. Now for me personally, I always like to book directly with the airline because I find that with some third-party sites you can run into some problems if you do need a refund, or if that company does go under, which has happened a lot in the past year. Now the third method that I use is purchasing flights late at night or in the early hours of the morning. Prices of flights fluctuate by the minute, by the hour, due to the algorithm that they set up for their buying features. And what they know is when the majority of the country you're in are online. And when the majority of the people of your country are online, the prices generally are higher because their traffic on their websites are higher, and therefore they can increase the price because there is a demand. However, when that demand is taken away, you tend to find some cheaper flights, and you may find a deal before anyone else has. And this is another time where you can find mistakes before they're rectified, before people start to realize that something is wrong here, because most of the time when there is flight errors, it's simple human error when inputting these deals. Now the fourth option that I'm going to share with you is to sign up for an Air Miles credit card. Now I know people get a bit hesitant when start talking about credit cards, but hear me out and I will show you why this is a good method. I was first introduced to this idea through the YouTube channel Cara and Nate, where they explained they're able to get free flights and even heavily discounted price through the accumulation of air miles. Now air miles in the UK work slightly differently. We call them AVIOUS points, and you don't need to consistently fly it to build these up. Now the two that I'm going to recommend is the American Express British Airways card. There are two different versions, or they're pretty much the same thing, but one has slightly more benefits than the other. Now having one of these cards can protect you in a number of different ways, particularly if you are traveling a lot. I'm not going to go through all the benefits because they are quite in depth, but I'm going to explain to you why this will help you to get cheap flights. Now, as I said, there's the two cards that we have, which you can see here. The one that I have is the blue card, the basic card. One of the reasons why I have this is because there is no annual fee. But the other reason, if you see on here, from you spending £1,000, you get a bonus of 5,000 points within the first 3 months of your card membership. Now, the way in which you're able to do this is through using the card as you would do normally. Instead of using your debit card to pay for things, to pay for petrol, to pay for shopping, to pay for your train fare, anything like that, you use this card, and as soon as you used it, you can pay it off straight away, so you don't incur any interest. Along with these, as you can see, you do get a bonus of 1 AVIOUS point per pound you spend on the card. Now the more that you do this, the more points that you build up, and eventually you're going to have enough points to redeem them for flights, hotels, or even car hire. As you can see, there is another card here. You do have an annual fee here. I think it's about £185 per year, which is one of the reasons why I didn't do it. And the other reason was because of the initial bonus that you get at the start of it was simply too high for me, because you have to spend £3,000 within the first 3 months of your card membership to get the benefit. However, if you do spend that much, you will get a bonus of 25,000 points, and I believe about 21,000 is your return flight from London to New York. These cards could help you get a free flight, and to be honest with you, is there anything wrong with that? Now, if you're really not interested in signing up for a card, there is a different thing you can do. You can sign up to the British Airways exclusive club e-store. Now, how does that work? You simply just log in, you sign up, no fee, nothing like that. It's just like joining a social media site. But what you can do, you can collect AVIOUS points online. So if we go on to the site here, what you see is a list of different outlets, and there's hundreds of different stores on here. So for example, if you wanted to buy something from Apple, don't go in store and use your credit card, buy it online through this site. And as you can rightly see, for every pound you spend at the moment, you get 9 AVIOUS points. So if you buy this iMac from this British Airways e-store, you will accumulate thousands of points which then you can use to redeem on flights, and that's something that you would have bought anyway. So instead of using a debit card, go through this site. You can then use your regular everyday spending and apply it to flights, and I think this is one of the best methods that you can use to help you get a cheaper flight. And it's worth mentioning as well that through using these methods, you don't always have to be booking budget airlines. I was able to book a flight to Amsterdam on British Airways for £38, and only recently in September I had return flights from Naples, British Airways, for £60. They are not always expensive. Sometimes the supposed cheap airlines can actually end up being more expensive than your premium airlines like British Airways. So the fifth method that I'm going to say is to book at the right time and know your routes and your regions. Now, what I mean by that is that it kind of goes without saying, you're not going to book at peak season. We know if you want to fly in Europe, as a general rule of thumb, August is the most expensive time. However, this doesn't mean because your region is on a school holiday that it will be the most expensive time elsewhere. For example, if you were to book August in Cambodia, that's actually their non-peak season because it's in the rainy season. Their peak season is between November and January. So it's really important that you know where these different routes are and when the prices are going to fluctuate. Now, when I also say booking the right time, I don't just mean booking within a time of year, I mean booking relative to your departure date. Flights generally are cheaper 5 to 6 months or 6 to 4 weeks before your departure date. That period in between is the best time to book your flights as a rule of thumb. Never book flights well in advance of your departure date or as a last minute deal. I know some people do find some last minute bargains, but they are very rare nowadays. It's important to know within that sweet spot period, you keep searching, you keep on these comparison sites so you know when the good deal is happening, you know when that price drops, so you're gonna have the best deal possible. Now within this method, I said know your routes. So what do I really mean by that? What I mean is you need to know what is the popular city to fly into. An example of this can be seen in Croatia. I wanted to go there, but I quickly realised that Dubrovnik and Split are very expensive cities to fly to because they're very popular routes. However, there is another city just north of Split called Zadar. Now this route is a lot cheaper, and I managed to get in peak season £50 return flights to Zadar, and I was still able to see the rest of the country from this city. So it's always worth knowing your routes. I guarantee you, right now, after this video, go on Skyscanner, look at Milan, look at flights to Copenhagen, look at flights to Berlin, look at flights to Budapest. You will find that these flights are extremely cheap. That's because these are extremely cheap routes. It's always worth knowing your routes, and the more you look online, the more you will learn and the more money you will save. Now, the sixth method, and it's probably the one you've been waiting for, is how do we know when airlines post mistakes? How do we find out about it? Well, there are two sites that I'm going to point you in the direction of. The first one is a website called Jack's Flight Club, and the second one is called Secret Flying. Now we're going to go online here. Secret Flying, here it is. So finding your cheapest online deals. Wherever you are watching the world, this website is going to be the site where you can find deals. For example, London to Australia of £549 for a return trip. Then we have London to Singapore return round trip, £380. Now normally these kind of flights and prices aren't around for very long. They're either a very good deal or they are a genuine mistake. So you'll have to move quite fast with them. You have to be quite adaptable to take advantage of the mistakes. Now that doesn't suit everybody, but you might find a deal that you absolutely cannot turn down. Now the second site which I mentioned is Jack's Flight Club, and Jack's Flight Club works slightly differently. So as it simply says on the website, you join Jack Flight Club, you get a cheap flight, you go on your holiday. Seems quite simple, but there's two options. There is a premium option where you pay a monthly retainer, but there's also a free option, which is what I'm signed up to. Now, the great thing about website like Jack's Flight Club is they do the work for you. So instead of trawling around Skyscanner and cheap flights, because sometimes we always miss deals, they will email you about 1 to 2 times a week with deals that they've found. Now, if you do pay for the premium membership, you get more emails and you get more alerts to when these mistakes or deals go online, but it's still a great free resource you can use to find cheaper flights. Now, if you use any of these methods, even 3 of the methods, I guarantee you will save money. And if from watching this video you've managed to find a cheap deal, a cheap flight, please let me know in the comments. Or if there's other methods you use that I haven't mentioned, please again write them in the comments. The one thing I want to have from this channel is for everyone to share their methods, share the way in which they find to travel the world at the best possible price. Now, I must point out that I am not associated with any of the different companies or different brands on this video. These are just simply things that I found that have helped me to get cheaper flights. And please comment below if you want further information, if there's certain things that you want to know. I will link every website and every different thing that I've mentioned in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and hopefully I will catch you on the next one. See you later.